Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Lunch with Lisa. Hopefully, I'm live. I am live? All right, anyway, I am Lisa Warner. I am the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing. And I am the owner of the Facebook group Soul Sourced Healing, where we talk about healing at the soul level, healing body, mind, and soul, bringing everything back together as one. Today, I wanted to talk about something a little different than I normally talk about. Well, I don't know, not that different, but indoctrinated. We have been hornswoggled, hoodwinked, and hypnotized out of our own natural well-being. Hey, Donna. Hey, Brenda. Thanks for joining today. In today's world, we are in a state of mass pandemic. We are running in fear of an invisible enemy. And it is making enemies of each other over whether to wear a mask or not to wear a mask. If you're not wearing a mask, you're trying to kill me. People, we are fighting the wrong battle here. We have all been hornswoggled out of our own natural well-being. Our bodies are magnificent. Our bodies are created in natural perfection. Our bodies are designed for well-being. Our bodies are designed to heal themselves every single time. But what has happened to us as a society? We have been hypnotized into disease consciousness. And what does that mean? Well, it means that disease is everywhere. Everywhere we turn, anytime we turn on the TV, anytime we scroll through a news feed, anytime we're looking at a newspaper, there are messages of disease everywhere. And we have come to believe that disease is just natural. It's just a normal, natural part of life. It's an inescapable, unavoidable happening in our lives. And we hope that we can just get through the majority of our life with as much health as we can possibly get through with. And for a lot of us, we succumb to disease. We find ourselves hospitalized. We find ourselves living with disease, chronic disease. And you know what? We don't need that. We don't need to do this anymore. Germ theory was discredited long ago. Right after Pasteur came up, theorized the germ theory that things are attacking our bodies, that germs, bacteria, viruses, diseases are attacking our bodies. This has long been discredited. Hey, Carol, thanks for hopping on. Nice to see you here. Science changed 40 years ago, 4 decades ago. There was a discovery that changed science forever. Yet the general populace and even the medical communities have not been made aware of the new science. And why would this be? Well, come to find out, if you've done any amount of research in the last 6 months since the world has gotten flipped on its head, you can see that there is a group of the 1%, they call it, the global elite, the ones who have all the money, who own the pharmaceutical companies and the medical industries. The pharmaceutical industries make billions upon billions of dollars every year by selling us, the herd, medication. They have a vested interest in our unwellness. So how does this work? This sounds kind of crazy, right? If you haven't done a lot of research, why would anybody want people to be unwell? Well, it turns out there's a small faction of humans who really have a very diabolical agenda, and they are the ones that are making billions upon billions upon billions of dollars. And they have an agenda about, they have a mentality about the herd, the rest of humanity. And they really don't care about our well-being. They really, truly do not care about our well-being. It's hard to imagine that. I didn't really understand the depth of that until I started doing some research. I kind of wrote all of this off as, this is just big business, and this is how medical science has developed, and this is how consciousness has developed. It seems kind of logical that there's something wrong with our bodies. But you know what, people, this is not true. There is actually an agenda, and there is actually people that want our illness. So what happens? Let's take a look at this. Beautiful, amazing human beings who want to help humanity become doctors and nurses because they truly want to make a difference. They want to help people live long, healthy lives. So what happens? They go to medical school or nursing school. Those nursing schools and medical schools are sponsored by pharmaceutical companies. As soon as a doctor gets accepted into a medical school, what do they receive? They receive a prescription pad. They receive notebooks, pens, papers, notepads with names of drugs on them. So right from the start, they are being trained to look for disease. Okay, you may have heard of something called selective attention. There's a great little video on the internet that I've seen that is 6 people, 3 people in white shirts, 3 people in black shirts. They have 2 basketballs. The black team has 1 basketball and the white team has another basketball. And the video camera is placed in stillness on this group. And these people mill around with each other, and the white team passes the basketball between the white shirts, and the black team passes their basketball between the black shirts. And the thing is, at the beginning, it says, how many times does the basketball get passed between the white team? So as you're watching the white team, and you're counting the number of times they pass the basketball. So then at the end, it comes back on, they finish their little experiment, and under a minute, it comes back on, it says, how many times did that happen? Well, it happened X amount of times, 15 times. And then it says, did you see the gorilla? What gorilla? In the middle of that experiment, somebody in a gorilla suit walks in to the middle of the group and walks through. But the majority of people that are watching that video are so focused on the passing the basketball between the white shirts, they never saw the gorilla. Selective attention. So when doctors and nurses get admitted to nursing school and medical school, the selective attention begins. The pharmaceutical companies support the medical schools. They are the ones that are sponsoring the education of the doctors and nurses. They now become educated in disease. So these people are now trained to look for disease. Any change in the body becomes a disease. How do we create a disease? Ready? 2 steps. Step number 1, find a physical symptom or a set of symptoms. Step 2, give it a name. Voila, there's your disease. Cancer, diabetes, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, you name a disease, that's how it was created. Those symptoms that show up in our bodies, those changes that show up, are meaningful. Our bodies are doing that on purpose. Our bodies are designed to keep themselves in balance. Our bodies are designed to help us. Our bodies are designed to help us during times of stress. The biological changes that happen in our bodies are reflecting our emotional stresses. In the 1980s, a doctor named Hammer had an amazing, earth-shattering, medical science changing breakthrough discovery. He discovered how our bodies are programmed to work. He discovered the direct link between our fight or flight responses and how the body responds to our fight or flight scenarios. For every type of fight or flight scenario that happens, every time we get an unexpected shock, we go into fight, flight, or freeze. Life hits us upside the head with some incredible news of, hey, your spouse got hit by a car, whatever. How we process that on our brain determines the response our body has to that. During the crisis, our body is responding. Biological changes are happening in our body because our body is trying to help us through that crisis. It's trying to give us the best chance to make it through to the other side and come out even stronger than when we went in. But when the body reverses those biological changes, that's called healing. And the healing process is a process of reconstruction. It's a process that the body needs to then undo whatever it was doing during the time of our stress, our crisis. As we heal the stress, as we make peace with the crisis, whatever it was, our body then goes into healing. And that is the part that is painful. It is uncomfortable. We have swelling, we have coughing, we have fever, we have congestion, we have pain, we have tumors, we have all kinds of things that happen during that time. But that is the body healing itself. This is what we have been selectively attending to as disease. Our body's natural processes have been labeled as disease. And now the pharmaceutical companies and medical industries are labeling our natural healing processes as disease. Our doctors are being indoctrinated into disease consciousness. It's not their fault. The ones who own the pharmaceutical companies, who have absolutely no care about our well-being. If we're in well-being, we're not buying pharmaceuticals. So they have no impetus, no wanting of us to have health. Literally. It's real. I didn't understand that people could actually be that cruel and cold-hearted until I started doing the research to see what's actually going on behind this pandemic. But that's what's going on. So people, we are not in a war with viruses and bacteria. Viruses and bacteria are our body's construction crew. They are the things that help the body heal itself. Our bodies produce these viruses that they are looking for on purpose because they're helping our bodies. They're not being transmitted and then hopping into our bodies to try to kill us. It's not what's happening. And this is scientifically proven by these breakthrough discoveries that Dr. Hammer had back in the 1980s that the general public has not been made aware of, and that the medical industry itself has not been made aware of. So now is the time, and it is imperative that we each start to see what's actually going on here. That there is an agenda, and the agenda does not involve herd health at all. It does not involve the well-being of the herd. It involves the well-being of the 1% who are in control of all of these other industries. And they are more than happy to cull the herd. There has been an agenda. It's stated clearly. Listen to some of Bill Gates. This will probably get yanked from YouTube now. Listen to some of the TED Talks. He talks about population control. All of these things are out there. You just have to look. Culling the herd literally means taking people who are alive now and making them not be alive anymore. Look at how many people die every year of cancer, of Parkinson's, of multiple sclerosis, of all different kinds of diseases. Disease is the leading cause of death. We just learned how you create a disease in 2 steps. Why do you think every time you turn on the TV, there's a brand new commercial for a brand new disease, for a brand new drug that is going to cure this brand new disease? There is no cure for disease. There is no disease. There's nothing wrong with our bodies. Our bodies are functioning perfectly, and it's time for us all to wake up and realize that we have natural immunity, we have natural well-being, and our bodies are on our side every single moment of every single day. Many of the doctors are starting to realize this now. They've had to learn this on their own because they weren't given the gift of the new science. They weren't shown the scientific breakthroughs that are called German New Medicine, the 5 biological laws that go across all species, not just humans, lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, every species. These 5 biological laws hold true across all species 100% of the time. They're not a theory, they're actually universally true science. But this universally true science goes directly against the current medical model, which is based on disease theory, germ theory. So people, let's wake up and let's start to learn the simplicity of self-healing. I learned this on my own when I healed myself from cancer without any of the medical intervention. When I thought that my body was being attacked by cancer, it was terrifying because suddenly there was this thing, this third party that was coming in between me and my body. There was this invisible enemy that seemed visible in my body, that seemed to be attacking me, sending me into fear and angst and anxiety, sleepless night after sleepless night, worrying about this thing that was attacking me. Until finally one day in meditation, when I got quiet enough to receive the information I needed, the information popped in and I realized there is nothing that has hopped into my body that's attacking my body. These are my own cells. And my own cells are my own cells. If they're my cells, they're doing something for me. They're not cancer's cells. They don't belong to some other thing. These are our own cells, people, and our own cells are on our side. Our own cells are doing what they need to do in response to our fears, our angers, our frustrations, our self-doubt. All of the stresses in our lives, our body's got our back. It's time for us to wake up and realize how spectacular and amazing these bodies are. It's time for us to wake up and realize that we have been hornswoggled, hoodwinked, and hypnotized out of our own well-being. Are you ready to take your well-being back? Are you ready to take your power back? Are you guys with me? I'm with you. We all are part of the herd. And it's time for all of us to wake up and realize that the herd already has immunity, that we have well-being already. We don't need the pharmaceutical and medical industries. We don't need to count on them for our own health. When we put our health in the hands of somebody else, we are on a slippery slope. But when we can confidently take our own health into our own hands, when we can start to understand exactly how our bodies are programmed, when we can understand exactly why a symptom shows up in our body, then we are in charge of our own body. We know what to do. We don't have to rely on some drug to fight the disease that doesn't exist in our body. We don't need to go to war with our bodies, but we are at war. Make no mistake about it. And we are not at war with a virus, a microorganism, but we are at war with the ones who want to cull the herd. We are at war with the ones who want to inject everyone with toxic substances, and perhaps even microchips. That's the real war. That's the war for our own health. It's the war for our own sovereignty, and it's the war for our own freedom. If you don't believe me, please do some research. Look up the 5 biological laws of German New Medicine. In particular, look up the 4th biological law that talks all about viruses and what actually happens during a pandemic. People, we as the herd have to wake up. We have to realize that we already have immunity. We have to take off the masks and realize who we are actually fighting. We don't need to fight each other. That's what they want. When we're busy fighting each other, we're not paying attention to the actual enemies. Our bodies don't have an enemy. We've been hypnotized into that belief system to our own disadvantage. It's time to wake up and realize that our bodies are our best friends, and our bodies are designed to live for hundreds of years. They're designed to automatically, naturally rejuvenate and regenerate themselves. But we have to be on board with that. We have to understand that. So thanks, Robin. Above, down, inside out. Awesome. Deanna, thanks. That was well done. Awesome. Thanks for watching, everybody. So please, if you have been hornswoggled, hypnotized out of your natural well-being, and you're ready to take your well-being back, if you're ready to learn how your body actually functions so that you can be in charge of your own well-being, that you understand the simplicity of self-healing, please reach out to me. I've been down this road. I understand this road up, down, inside out. So please reach out if I can be of assistance. You can reach me at my website, connectingyoutoyou.com, or on this Facebook page. My Facebook group is called Soul Sourced Healing. If you're on Facebook and you're not a member of the group, come on over and join us. We'd love to have you. My YouTube channel, you can look for me at Lisa Warner, The Simplicity of Self-Healing on YouTube. So, and hopefully this video will still be there when you look it up. All right. So thanks for joining me, everybody. I appreciate you every week in the Soul Sourced Healing group. Tuesdays, 12:30, Lunch with Lisa. Come join me every day. All right. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. And we shall see you again next week. Until then, create for yourselves a great week.